Welcome to African Couch Potato, the mashup. As you know, our new episodes drop on Monday. Thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about inventing feelings or creating a mood. Have you ever watched something where you feel like you want to cry, or you start getting nervous, or you feel very happy? That is the discussion that we have. And all of that is caused by music, composition, or what's known in film as scoring. And my guest today is Modiakgotla Keatile Shole. Which name do you prefer?
Everybody calls me Modia.
Modia.
Yeah.
I was also gonna go from there because long names, complicated names,
long, uncommon names.
Yes. Even the surname Shole, I've never heard it before.
Yeah. It's more in Botswana.
Yeah.
Because I think the story is that some of our forefathers were started over there, and then some of them went to the Free State, some of them went to the Northwest. So we all over, we are clear.
So the stuff that you've worked on, 1802, Love Defies Time, which is on One Magic. Then there's The Last Fight, which was on Prime. Then there's The Ground Beneath Her with Ate, Ngobilo Khumalo and Kabonina, also on Prime. Summertide, which is on Mnet. Lavish, which is Mzansi Magic. I'm mentioning all of this as a list because we don't actually see you.
I don't think you're supposed to see me.
I also don't think, but there's things like, what do you tell your mom or your family when they're like, what do you do for a job?
The family only understood when things started happening, because they're like, okay, he's there making songs, but we don't know, maybe go get a job and then do this at the weekend. But you have to persevere enough to have something that you can say, okay, mama, papa, here's something. But in the meantime, it's that grind that goes with achieving a goal. So that's the thing, they don't understand until they see it. They only understood because they are from the olden times where you get a job, either you're a teacher or you're a policeman or you're this or that. They only understand once they see it. Or once you carefully explain to them, okay, you see that movie, you see that music that they're doing there, that's what I'm doing, that's what I'm trying to get at.
But before you got into music, you have a BTech in electronics and electrical engineering.
National Diploma.
From TUT.
From TUT, main campus.
Yeah. Was that to please your parents?
No. It's actually a funny story. Well, not funny, but kind of happened at the same time. I went to a technical high school, so naturally you would go for a technical course, right?
Yes.
Engineering or civil engineering or what have you. So my thing was electrical engineering. I wanted to be an electrical engineer. So my first year, that's when I started making beats. I started off making ringtones from the Nokia 3310 phone.
Yes.
Right. It had a composer feature, right? My dad also had an organ. He's also a music enthusiast. So there's an organ or a keyboard always in the house. And I started making my own ringtones, not my own, but I'll take popular songs and make ringtones out of them. So a friend heard this, right, and said, wow, dude, you can really make beats. I'm like, it's just a ringtone. He's like, no, you can make beats. I have a cousin who has a copy of Fruity Loops, and I'm gonna meet with him and tell him about you, and you're gonna start making beats, officially. Like a statement, not even a question, right? So my first year, I think around about May, that's when he gave me that copy of Fruity Loops, and that's also my first year while I was studying. And I believe if you go into your first year, you need to have another thing, an extramural activity that you're doing besides studying your course. Some people are in the SRC, some people play soccer, others work at the internet cafe. So I needed also a thing. Right? I tried to get into radio DJing. My voice wasn't deep enough. I tried to get into soccer, but those guys were just too big. And this is Super Sport when they won back-to-back trophies. So when I found Fruity Loops and the art of beat making, I really found my thing. When I wasn't studying, that's what I was doing. So in 2008, I graduated. Now it's time to be a responsible adult, get a job. I got a job. I worked for 3 years, and I left the beat making side. Like, that was a hobby. That was all in good. Now I have to focus on work. I worked for 3 years, right? And after my third year, I did a very silly rookie mistake, which I don't think kids and adults are supposed to do, which is leaving your plan A without a solid plan B.
Yeah.
right? So I was trying to get a job somewhere else, but I hadn't secured that job. I resigned my first job without
Securing the other one.
securing the other one. Didn't get the job, found myself unemployed, was sending CV after CV after CV, I could only get internships here and there. And, after going through all those rejections, you start asking yourself, but okay, what else am I good at? What else can I do, to, I guess, sustain myself? And look, if I was good at fixing cars, I would have been a mechanic right now.
Yeah.
If I was good at painting,
I would have been a
I would have
painter.
done that. And I remembered, oh, but I can still make beats. So with some of the savings that I had, I bought myself a laptop, got another copy of Fruity Loops, and started making beats again. I think it was then where I decided, you know what, let me just pursue this full time.
Yeah. So now with beats and beat making, obviously, like the times you grew up in Katsabo Squatter Camp,
Yes.
were you making beats for like Abo Sugar Smacks and stuff?
No,
like
no,
that?
I was just making beats for me, my friends to listen to, because then I didn't know how, okay, if you make a beat, how do you get it to what I can? It was just for me and my friends. It was just a hobby
Yeah.
at the time. I think after I was unemployed and I decided, look, let me start, sending my beats out. Both Facebook and Twitter were, on the rise at that time. This was 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
Right. So now I decided, let me use the power of social media to put my beats out there instead of just playing them, for my friends. Yes. And it's funny because I told myself, if nobody likes it, then, I guess I'll go back to sending out my CV. But you start getting response, you start getting likes from people you don't know or friends of
Yeah.
friends that say, oh, so you make beats. Okay, no, this is not too bad, So yeah.
How do you sell a beat?
You approach an artist. You approach whoever you want to work with. I think the most important thing is studying whoever you want to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Find out what they like. You're not going to sell something that they don't like. So I think find out, even with film scoring, even approaching production houses, you have to study the show that they worked with, the music that they like, and send it to them. Say, hey, what do you think? And then from there, then comes the negotiation. Okay, do you want to sell this beat outright? Do you want royalties? The better answer is getting royalties.
Yeah.
Right? But when you start out, nobody really trusts you as a preferred beat maker or music producer. So you might have to sacrifice some of your early works just to get there, because it's also a relationship business. Once they use your composition and it pans out well for them, now they trust you.
Yeah.
Now you can get into negotiation. Okay, I gave you this beat, it worked, but you're back here a second time, and hey, look, man, I think let's get into more deeper, royalties and such.
But now with the once off sale, what are the ballpark figures?
It's up to you. It's really up to you, and it also depends which level you are at.
Yeah.
If you're a beginner, you can't be selling beats for 50K and stuff like that. You have to maybe get what what was being offered.
Yeah.
As you get older and you're in the game, then you can start, making your own figures. If your beats are trusted and if they have returns, if it's a hit, if people like them, if people are reacting to them, hey man, if somebody cuts your hair really good, you're gonna keep going to them.
Yeah. And the royalties conversation, how does that work? If you partner up with Slicker while he's making music and you give him a beat and it's like, fine, we can work together, you now want royalties. You get into a contractual agreement. What is the percentage of those royalties? When do they pay out? How do you structure that agreement?
So with that, the money collection agencies such as SAMRO, especially for composers, as SAMRO and Capasso, there are other money collecting agencies such as Needle Time, but those are mostly for session musicians, and RISA for recorded works.
Yeah.
Right. So for composers, it's mainly SAMRO and Capasso, and you have to apply to be a member so that they can collect money for you. So let's say you meet up with a slicker, you agree that you want to split royalties. Usually it's 50-50. It's 50% for the lyrics and 50% for the composition.
Yeah. And then they will then track the airplay of those songs.
They will register the song and list you as a composer, right? And once you're a full member of Samro will collect that money for you and send it, because you're going to fill in your banking details and all of that.
Yeah.
They're going to send it to you. Yes.
Right.
So once the song is registered, because there's been talks of, artists, getting robbed because they don't do the split sheets correctly. So The split sheet is basically the agreement. I'm getting 50% of the song, you getting 50% of the song.
And realistically, what are the turnaround times? So from you, let's say we release the song now, it's the beginning of May. When does money start coming into your account?
The first song that I did came in a year. They told me I'm 18 months, but it was a year, 2 months, yeah.
Okay. So in situations where people are now Bayashona and they've passed on and they haven't received a cent from their work, some of the time it's just speculation, other times it's valid. Is that just like an issue of paperwork?
Yes, sometimes. So I think it's the issue of paperwork. But if they have registered their works under their names and there's no typos, there's no, anything that might lead to not them getting their works, then everything should be okay. The family should be contacted. They will pass their condolences and say, hey, this person left this at this much royalties, and every time the song gets airplay, you will get paid. They probably will have a will that says, should I pass away, this person or give the royalties to this account.
Yeah. Bring it back now to education. When do you go to the Academy of Sound?
I went to the Academy of Sound Engineering in 2014. So remember, I was unemployed 2011. So between then, I'm making more beats now. I'm really getting to my beat making bag, and I fell in love with like Ninth One, about Jay Dilla, Kanye West, the way they sample.
Yeah.
I was also trying to sample like that. So most of my stuff then was sampled from existing songs. Also, I'm attending conferences, right? Because I'm really trying to learn how to get my beats out there instead of just playing them for my friends. So I attended conferences such as Mushito, the Sambro Mushito conference. That's where you meet, influential people that are in the game that hold conferences and tell you how to get your music out there. So one of the panelists was Mr. Nick Matsukis, founder of the Academy of Sound Engineering. And he's a lawyer. And one of the important things that he got into was music contracts, understanding what happens when a certain artist gives you a contract. And for me, that's where my antenna stood up. Like, I have to get in there. So they offer a range of courses, but for me, I only chose the music business masterclass. There's sound engineering, there's courses where they teach you how to make beats and all of that. And I thought to myself, I already covered that. I've already taught myself how to make beats. I just need to learn, the business. So I went there in 2014. I really enjoyed that course. I really enjoyed how, Nick gives a lecture. It's more like this, more like having a conversation as he gives you case studies of, contractual disputes and what goes into, music contracts. And it's not just contract. There are other chapters where they explain the rights of a song. There's composition, which is publishing, there's master recording, right? So all of those topics are covered in his course. And I think that's what drove me to that, attending conferences and really wanting to learn more.
Yeah. Part of that MBM course that you did, the two ones that stuck out for me was income streams in music. And then the second one was marketing in the digital arena. What, in summary, what did you learn from both of those?
I didn't really focus on the digital marketing, but I really wanted to know the breaking down of a copyright, and it's broken down in like so many ways, as Nick explained. There's copyright in the sound recording, in the master recording. There's copyright in the composition. I think I learned the many ways to exploit a song, and exploit has a very good connotation in music publishing. That's finding work for your music. So there are many ways where you could find works and find ways to get paid through your music. For example, mechanical royalties, performance royalties. You could write a lyric down of a song, and that song can be used as many times as possible. A good example is the Happy Birthday song. I don't know who owns the copyright to that, but they must
making a lot of money.
There's the Stevie Wonder version. That's the version we hear at Spur. But the original is Happy Birthday to you. You belong. But other people can take it and flip it in other ways, and you can coin from that. As long as you copyright it and go about it the right way.
So how do you now branch off into the film and television space?
I get my MBM, but by the way, the MBM course has no tests, no assignments.
Yeah.
Because he said, look, I'm gonna give you a test and you're gonna get 80%, and then you're gonna go in the industry and get robbed. So look, use this book as a reference book. Every
Yeah.
time you go into a contract negotiation, just read a chapter or maybe call us so we can help you. So 2014, this time also, I'm also networking via social media, right? I start inboxing rappers and all sorts of artists, and the one guy that I inboxed who I didn't expect to reply to me so quickly was Kabelo Mabalan.
Yes.
Yes. So Kabelo, I sent him a couple of beats, and the timing was very good because he was about to release his own album. And he considered one of my beats for his album, but the album took a different direction.
Yeah.
Right. So my song had to be left out because it wasn't flowing with
the rest of the body of work.
So my beat was a Kwaito sample, right? But he went the Afro beat, the Fela Kuti type. So you can't
merge, yeah.
Yeah, but the theme of it was Africa. He wanted to represent Africa, right? So he said, look, dude, you're not going to be on my album, but what I'll do, I can give you an exclusive songwriter deal with my company, which is administered by Shea.
Yeah.
So now I'm under his label for 2014. It was a 3-year contract, 2014, 2015, 2016. It lapsed somewhere in 2017. So during the middle of that, that's when I got to work with the Mahotela Queens and Casper on that song. The publisher, Shea, also, like, there are client liaisons at publishing companies, if they see, okay, you make beats and he's a rapper, hey, why don't you guys
come together?
And I had met Casper before and, did the whole, hi, my name is Modia. Look, can I have your email? I just want to send you some beats. If you like, let's work. If not, it's cool. The same way I approached Gabel. So after that song, after he liked the song, recorded the song, put it on his album, was a single, the first song that I had on radio. Well, no, the second song, but it was much bigger than the other one. So they sent me a brief after that. I think going back to what I was saying earlier, once your composition or your song does something good, now they trust you. Now they say, okay, okay. I think, let's just throw them this opportunity. So they sent me a TV brief, and I didn't know what it was at the time, but I was always curious, okay, how do I get my music on TV? Because you hear adverts and there are hip hop beats there, and I can make a hip hop beat. So how do I get it there? So they sent me a TV brief. I think it was for a nature show, one of these nature shows. Hey, this TV show is looking for a 30-second song, and here's the fee that you get. The deadline is in 3 days. We'll let you know if you have got it after 7 days. So for me, I like that whole format. With artists, you have to wait for them to release their albums if they're going to approve your song on their albums. It takes much longer. If you have samples, the sample clearing, that might take a while and it might not even work out. So I like the format of the TV brief. I can make a 30-second song and get this amount of money. By the way, that amount was a very comfortable amount. It's someone's salary. Someone's salary who can rent and pay installment. Like, for 30 seconds, no, look, sign me up. Right. And I remember they shortlisted my submission. They said, hey, man, this is really good. But after the 7 days, they said, okay, the company decided to go with another song. But for me, it was like, I like that.
Yes.
How do I get more into it? Yeah. So it was through Shea Publishing that kind of shifted the direction of me going from just making beats to now, let me find out what this film scoring thing is.
How do you now start working for Mzansi Magic? Are you contacted by the editors, or is it the commissioning editors? How do you now start working in a space where now you've got 3, 4, 5 productions that are using your music?
So the thing is that when you sign for a publishing company, people just expect you to give the publishing company your music, and then they'll find work for you. And it's not really completely like that. You also have to get on your grind and start knocking on doors, keep on top of mind of these people that give you these opportunities. So I felt because I've learned how to network from attending those conferences, let me do the same with production companies. So I was also knocking on doors. It wasn't just sheer, doing it for me. And one tactic that I saw was beneficial for me is, if you see your favorite TV show and you think you can provide music for that, wait until the end of the show and read the credits.
Yeah.
And see who are the people that you need to contact. Google them, find them on Facebook, find their emails, and send your stuff. So that's what I did. Because also I have a deal with Share.
Yeah.
Maybe that might work. One of the client liaisons can say, yes, Modia is represented by us, and you can give him a chance. So that's how I got to those channels, because it wasn't the commissioning editor of those channels. No, it's the production companies. There's the production companies that have a show. Obviously, they've seen your email, they've heard some of your works. They tell you, okay, look, we'll keep you in mind if you have a project.
Yeah.
And once they have a project, somebody might call you and say, hey, so what you busy with? We have a show like this and that. Are you interested? And if you're interested, hey.
Yeah. The 1802 one, and why I keep going back to that question is that, sometimes when you give advice to younger people and you're like, sure, Casper, how did you make it? He'll say, man, I just prayed and things
Sleepless
happened.
nights.
Yeah. But you actually did more than that. You actually went to somebody specific and dropped off a mixtape. So how did you get that 1802 gig?
The production house that I worked with was Hella Media, right? I think I have to include this as well. Besides finding people, on the credit list, the people in the know, I also started making examples, mock scores, is what they called, on my Facebook pages, on my Instagram pages. So I would take, let's say, a trailer, no music, and put my music under there and put it on Facebook. And I did this from 2018.
Yeah.
I had to get, the instruments that are really good for film scoring and then start doing that, and I did that very consistently. I did that. If I wasn't posting every day, it was every other day.
Yeah.
Because I wanted the people in the know, once they Google me, they can see, visuals with my music on it. I wanted to be known as a guy, Modiakgotla music. Yeah. When you see Usain Bolt's Facebook page, it's marathon times.
Yes.
When you see DJ Fresh's Facebook page,
it's gigs and clubbing.
It's gigs, right? So it's representing what they're doing, and I wanted to do that for myself. So I put them on my social media pages, and I will send them those links. So my thing was, this is what can happen when my music and your visuals marry each other. So once you do this consistently, man, people are gonna see. People are going to see, okay, this guy is really about this film scoring. So there was one other film composer who I tagged so many times on social media. He never replied, but he could see that this guy is at work. So I guess what I'm guessing is that maybe they offered him the gig, and because he had other projects, he said, I can't do it right now, but check this guy out. Yes. So I worked with Hella Media on Lavish first. Yes, the dramedy series. There was a 13 episode on Mzansi Magic. So they threw my name in the hat, and I get an inbox from this composer's manager saying, hey, a friend of mine is looking for somebody that can compose to picture. Can you do it? Yes. So from there, it went from that composer's manager to, I think it was the line producer, for that production house, asked me the same question. Do you want to compose a picture? Yes, I do. And then send us samples of your work. I sent them samples of my work, and I guess they liked them enough to have a meeting with me. I had a meeting with them, and look, when you're coming from the 9 to 5 area, you're expecting to hear questions like, tell us about yourself, and why do you want to work here? But it wasn't like that when I met them, man. It was a situation like this where there's two people in the room, with the director and the executive producer. The director was playing the music that he wants me to compose. The exec was telling me the story. First thing when I got in the room, okay, have a seat. Yeah, so this is our story. These are 4 characters. This is the plot. She's like this, she's like that. And I liked the fact that they were playing the music the whole meeting. And I was taking down notes. Okay, this is the type of music that they want. And also, they will also brief you on, say, the references. Think of Desperate Housewives. This is the type of show that we're trying to make, and the music must have that feeling. So I sent Hella Media, I think, 10 compositions that fell into the brief, which was light-hearted, quirky music, emotional music. There's also going to be a bit of drama, but also they wanted to wrap it up with a nice South African flavor, maybe piano
Yeah.
or Afrobeat or whatever. So I sent samples of those works, and they liked them. And that's when I started scoring on Lavish. So I got the 1802 gig through working with them on Lavish.
Yeah. What is film scoring, or what's your process rather? Do you now sit down, because you can do it before or you can do it after, where they've given you a brief, the exec and the director, to say, this is what we're looking for. You go, you put something together and you send it back in a batch. Do you ever now get a film that's already been completed and they say, we just need you to bring in some nuances, emotions, to bring in a way to hook the viewers in?
Yes.
And then you start scoring?
Yes, I usually get complete, if not pick locked, then soft locked episodes or a complete movie where they're sure that this is the final draft of the movie. Yes, I get that first. And then I watch it in the raw, right? Without any music, without me writing down notes. I watch it at least 2 times. Right. And with that, my process is okay. Let me first answer your question before I go into my process. Film scoring to me is the art of having original written music that accompanies the visuals that are happening on screen.
Yeah.
Right. So what is happening on screen is the main thing, but your music should add color to what's happening on screen. Think of it as giving a child a coloring book, a blank coloring book and a box of crayons, and say, just color it how you see it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the kid might use a black and gray and give it a somber feeling, or start using bright colors and give it a happy feeling. According to your brief, they will tell you, okay, these are the crayons that we would like you to use. So my process is watching all of the episodes in the row. I watch it at least 2 times just to get the story. And because they've already briefed you, you've already sent them a pitch of certain music that they like. They will approve that music. And once they approve that music, you know which style to stick to.
Yeah.
Right. So with Lavish, because it was a TV series, with TV series, you can have one song and then have renditions of the same song. Right. So my process, I would make a song and pitch it to Helen Media. Once they like it, I make variations of those other songs while waiting for the first episode. And while watching this episode in the raw, I will pick spots where I know, okay, this one deserves this composition. This one deserves this composition. This one deserves this composition. And that's where you start. Start with the ones that you know are easy to do.
Yeah.
All right. Once you get in that groove, you can kind of, sort of also see, but I think this also is missing something. Maybe even not a song, but a sound, an effect, So that's my process. It's starting with the scenes that you can do quickly. Yes.
You've got Summertide, which is on Mnet, right? Which is largely a white channel.
Yeah.
Then Lavish is like a black series. When you're scoring something, how much of yourself do you put into that to say, okay, fine, because I am South African with like history, Ako, Botswana, I can add some Motswako-ness? Or do you completely let the picture lead you and even branch into elements like classical or things like the Hans Zimmer type of?
Yes. So with Summertide, just to add, I'm not the original composer there. I'm providing additional music.
Okay.
So there's 2 composers there, and it's funny you mentioned Lavish. One of the people that I worked with at Lavish said, "Hey Modia, this is a show that's coming about, but I do not want to use library stock music. I want fresh music, but you're only going to be the additional composer." So he also gave me a brief. This is what the producers want, right? But with that, I don't think film composers or music producers should be one genre babies.
Yeah.
I think find influences in different genres, right? So my influences are very vast. So it's not just the hip hop, the squatter camp. There's also Queen. I also listen to Elton John.
Yeah.
I listen to the classical music, Marvin Gaye, Jay Dilla. So those influences, once you hear them, once you listen to them, repeatedly, you can sort of, okay, I like how they did that. How can I make, besides making hip hop, how can I make, an acoustic version? How can I, so what I do, my exercises, I try and make different genres every day depending on how I'm feeling. I feel like making a piano song today. I feel like fusing rock with piano elements. I feel like making orchestral drum. Those exercises will get you ready for any project that comes your way. Finding, not just making carbon copies of your influences, but putting your own twist in there that says, yeah, this is a drum, but with a bit of Modia.
Yeah. And then just before we wrap, when you now have completed this job that you do, you sit back and you listen to it. When do you feel in your soul that I can release this to client?
It has to feel good. Every scene that you do has to feel good. Every scene that you do has to feel good. And with me, there has to be a common flow with the first cue and the last cue. It has to be a common thread. For example, with Lavish, it's a dramedy, but there's drama here. It has to fit with the brief. There has to be a common thread, whether it's using the same instruments to provide different emotions. It might be a happy feel there, but it's the same string.
Yeah.
Once there's a common thread, there's a commonality that this shows that it's either made by the same people with the same mindset or one person who could cover everything. Once that feels good to you, then you can send. With Bo 1802, the producers asked me not to make too much generic type scoring, right? Because it's a Xhosa indigenous show based in 1802 and also in 2023. So finding a sound that's indigenous with Xhosa music and combining that with modern scoring.
Yeah.
Is a sound that you can say, this feels good. I wonder what they think, and they like it. That's a formula that you can use, Once that feels good to you, once you have a formula, you can stick to that and make, all sorts of, variations based on that formula. Yeah. So it has to fit with the brief. It has to fit with whatever brief they gave you. And if they like it, then this is it. It's time for mass production now.
What's your retirement plan?
I'm just gonna keep making beats. I don't have a retirement plan. But I really want to get into like producing. One of my big dreams is I would like to own a channel one day. I would like to have a Tyler Perry type studios where I can have script writers bringing in their stories and I can provide music. I had an idea for a cartoon, but it's not fully worked out. But I have a lot of plans besides music as well. I also have other plans that I would like to do. But for the coming future, I just want to make beats. I just want to make beats and get work and, have an impact where I liked how Modia matched that scene with his music. It made me feel something, provide a soundtrack, provide memories. One example I can make, man, is a theme song for the A-Team, right? If A-Team was your favorite song, your favorite show, and you heard the theme song to A-Team,
you would know, yeah.
Yeah, so I want to do something like that, have a song that gives you a memory of a certain time. The A-Team reminds you of the 80s or the 90s. Have music that really outlives you, music that you can pass on from generation to generation. That's, I think, it's not even a retirement plan, it's just generational.
Yeah. And how do people get a hold of you?
Social media channels or Instagram, at Modia _Shole on Instagram and Twitter, Modiakgotla Shole on LinkedIn, Modia Shole on YouTube, Modia Shole on Facebook, or they can get my email, which is sholemkk@gmail.com. That's SHOLEMKK@gmail.com.
Thank you so much. And we're African Couch Potato on all social media platforms. You can also email me personally on justginosa, JUSTGINOSA @gmail.com. Until you hear from me again, goodbye and keep binging.